Hey, hey, plug up. I don't even understand how the fuck my plug talk.
The video industry has been rapidly evolving for the last couple decades, yet some people will still say today that the average gamer is a male teenager. Others refuse to believe that the video game industry is now in the billions, and some players make a full-time living playing video games. These are assumptions that have been passed down with no data or research. Lucky for us today, online gaming has skyrocketed, giving us all the data we need to provide facts. No more undercover gamers in fear of being judged by others. Some of this data might seem surprising to most. It's about time we start spreading facts and not misconceptions. Here are 10 gamer facts that will change your mind about gamers. For our first gamer fact that will change your mind about gamers, we're going to be talking about the age of players. 29% of gamers are under the age of 18. 32% of them are between the ages of 18 and 35. 39% are age 36 and above. The average gamer age is about 35, and it's been playing video games for an approximate of 14 years. The average age for most frequent gamer purchase is 37. And for a second fact that might change the way you think about gamers, it's a short one, but I feel like it's the most talked about one. Gender ratio of players. Basically, who owns the gaming community, males or females? We got the answers for you. It's 55% male, which dominate the community, to over 45% female, average across all platforms. So sorry females, it's a male community unless you guys step your game up and do something about it. For a third fact that might change the way you think about gamers, I mentioned in the beginning of this video in the intro that gamers were making a full-time living off of playing video games. How much of a living are they making, and what are the stats on that? Well, we have the answers for you. The highest prize pool for esports team tournament was during the International 2016 playing Dota for 20,770,640 buckaroos. And the top 15 professional gamers make between $226,776 and $454,444 on tournaments. The top Twitch video game streaming gamers make over $300,000 a year. For a fact that might change the way you think about gamers, we're going to be taking a look at where the most dedicated gamers come from in the world based on how much they spend a year in their country on video games. So there are about 7.2 billion groovy people on this planet, and out of that, 2.97 billion have internet access. Out of those, 1.8 billion are gamers, and they spend about 82 billion a year on video games. Let's take a look at the top 20 countries and see what they spend a year on video games. At number 1, we got the US of A. They spend about $20.5 billion on video games. Followed by China at number 2. They spend about $7.9 billion a year on video games. Number 3 would be Japan. They spend about $12.2 billion on video games a year. Followed by Germany at number 4. They spend about $3.43 billion on video games a year. 5. The UK with $3.43 billion on video games a year. Number 6, Korea. They spend about $3.36 billion on video games a year. At number 7, we have France. They spend about $2.6 billion a year on video games. At number 8, we have Canada. They spend about $1.7 billion on video games a year. At number 9, we have Italy. They spend about $1.5 billion a year on video games. 10, we have Spain. They spend about $1.49 billion on video games a year. At number 11, we have Brazil. They spend about $1.34 billion a year on video games. 12 is Russia with $1.14 billion a year on video games, tied at number 13 with Australia with another $1.14 billion on video games a year. At number 14, we have Mexico. They spend about $1 billion on video games a year. At number 15, we have Taiwan with $643 million being spent on video games a year. 16, India 583 million on video games a year. Number 17, the Netherlands, $433 million a year on video games. Number 18, Turkey, with $375 million being spent on video games a year. Number 19, Sweden, with $370 million. And last but not least, number 20, coming in at last, Switzerland, $326 million being spent on video games a year. So there you have it. USA is the top designated place for video games. They spend the most money, and Switzerland spends the least amount of money on video games a year. For a fifth fact that might change the way you think about gamers, we're going to be looking at how many hours spent playing video games between gamers as a whole. On average, 5.96 hours each week playing video games. 20.1% play for an hour or less each week, and 36.2% play between 1 and 4 hours a week. For the sixth fact that might change your mind of how you think of gamers is that studies have shown that 56% of gamers play with others they met on their console of choice, 21% with family members, 16% with their parents, and 15% with a spouse. And for fact number 7, in October 1958, a physicist from Cornell University created what is thought to be the very first video game. It was a very simple tennis table style game and was later released to the public as a classic 1970s under the name Pong, and was a smashing hit. For fact number 8, we're going to be looking at the best-selling video game genes amongst gamers. Coming in up top, we got shooters with 27.5%. Underneath that, we have action at 22.5%. Underneath that, RPGs at 12.9%. Underneath that, we got sports at 11.7%. And then adventures at 7.8%. Fighting games at 5.8%, and strategy at 4.3%. Coming in at fact number 9, 62% of gamers use a PC, while 56% use a console. Out of the 56% that use a console, majority prefers PS4 over Xbox One since 2017, which is different from years prior, where Xbox was the most dominating console. For fact number 10, we're going to be talking about the top 5 all-time best-selling video games. Coming in at number 1, we got Tetris with 495 million copies sold. Coming in second, Minecraft with 106.86 million. Coming in third, Wii Sports with 82.78 million copies sold. Coming in fourth, Grand Theft Auto 5 with 65 million copies sold. And coming in fifth, Super Mario Brothers with 40 plus million copies sold. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 gamer facts that might change your mind about gamers. But that's it for this journey, and I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, keep the vibes circulating, and I'll catch you on the next journey. Keep it lifted.
Murder on call with the fight now. 20 years and it seemed like a lifetime. I've been hanging every day from a lifeline. Why these fucking tailored in the